Wu Wei, the ancient Chinese art of effortless action. If you understand how this world is really arranged and tune yourself to it in a genuine way, then almost only the right things will start to happen to you, leading you in the right direction, even if it seems to you that this is not so. Gaining access to the flow. Wu Wei, contemplative non-action, is a Chinese concept that lies at the core of Taoism and is a key theme of Lao Tzu's immortal work, the Tao Te Ching. Wu Wei is literally translated as non-doing, but in fact its meaning is not so much about doing nothing as it is about learning to synchronize your actions with the greater flow of life. The principle of Wu Wei, often called the principle of natural action, invites us to give up excessive effort and the urge to fight against the current, and instead try to move with the flow. We allow the energy of life's current to help us achieve what we desire, while at the same time preserving enough strength to respond to any obstacle or hidden rock that appears along the way. All of us have moments when we merge with the flow. In such moments, thanks to pure, focused will, the ability to detach from everything insignificant, or a combination of both, we bring our consciousness into a state where we feel an unbroken connection with what we are doing. Our actions become at the same time extremely effective and almost effortless. The surrounding world seems to slow down and move away, and in that space and time, we feel a unity between ourselves and what we are trying to do. Words stream onto an empty sheet of paper in an unbroken flow, prompting us what to write. The ocean itself directs us to where we can ride the highest wave of our life, and the rhythm of the song that we are dancing to passes through our entire body and becomes a pure expression of who we are. And although each of us has experienced this state of flow in peak moments of work, love, and creative aspiration, for the most part, we believe that this wonderful state can descend on us only in exceptional cases, that it is available only to an elite few, and that we can enter it only thanks to a lucky coincidence of circumstances or long and persistent work on ourselves. But what if this incredible feeling of flow could actually become our normal state? What if it were available to us at any moment when we need it? What if each of us, living our ordinary life with all its ups and downs, could have direct and immediate access to this incredible unity every single day, always and everywhere, in any situation? Move forward with the energy of the moment and respond to all obstacles in time. This can be done while putting in a minimum of effort. How to learn to do by not doing. History tells us that many adepts of the Tao try to embody the principle of Wu Wei in life by withdrawing from society, moving to live in the mountains, meditating for long periods in caves, and striving for daily existence that is guided and nourished only by the natural energy of this world. Yes, this is one way to achieve it, but by no means the only one. As Lao Tzu himself wrote, the perfect embodiment of Wu Wei can be found not only in the withdrawal from all worldly things, but also in the ability to go not against, but with the flow of life in which we live. When we have the ability to work with our inner essence and with the laws of nature that surround us, we reach the level of Wu Wei. And after that, we no longer waste our strength in vain. We work together with the natural order of things and act according to the principle of minimum effort. Precisely because nature and the world around us are arranged according to this principle, they do not make mistakes. Mistakes occur or are imagined not by nature, but by the human being, a creature with an overloaded brain who on their own cuts themselves off from the support network woven from the laws of nature, interferes with their action, and pushes too hard straight through. And although many of us start the day with a long list of urgent tasks and a feeling that circumstances are pressing from all sides, it's worth stopping at least for a moment and thinking about the fact that everything we do happens in accordance with the natural order of things. And if we tune into it and try to follow it, we will inevitably begin to succeed in doing everything more and more efficiently and precisely, without initial effort. If, however, we try to go against this order, it will take us much more time, strength, and energy to achieve what we want. And in some cases, as like for me when I decided to go surfing early in the morning, nothing will work out anyway, no matter how hard I try. Once again, if we are trying to go against the natural order of things and swim against the current, we will spend far more energy on everything we are trying to do. Energy that we would much rather spend on something more enjoyable. Following the way of nature. Whatever we are striving for, whatever we desire, And whatever our mind may be telling us about the urgency of tasks and strong pressure of circumstances, Wu Wei teaches us that the most effective way to do anything at all is to follow the way of nature, to follow the natural order of things. When we attune ourselves to the natural living flow of any activity, to the living energy of what we are striving for, we most often find ourselves able to achieve much more while doing less. If we take a closer look at how nature does things, we can see countless perfect examples of Wu Wei. The movement of the sun and the seasons, the rotation of the earth, the orbit of the moon, the flow of rivers that can carve valleys and turn them into green paradises, trees that can grow from tiny seeds and give life to countless descendants. Each of these examples fulfills its purpose with incredible efficiency, giving nature something without which it cannot do and which it cannot get from other sources. But does a river make an effort in order to flow? Does a tree bear fruit by forcing itself and suffering inwardly? No. Both the tree and the river do their work by not doing it. Some people intuitively interpret non-action as something passive, relaxed, or lazy, but this is not quite right. When we look at the world through the eyes of the Tao, we understand that there are times that require action from us. But if, according to the laws of nature, no action is needed at all, then if you do something in such a situation, it will already be too much. Moreover, there are cases when any action will bring far more harm than inaction. Imagine that you decide to grow a plant. At first, of course, you need to work hard. But after you create ideal conditions for its growth, plant it in excellent soil and make sure it has enough sun and water, the best thing you can do is simply leave it alone. If you are impatient and want the plant to grow as fast as possible, you might try to give it more water, more sunlight, more fertilizer, but this is unlikely to help and may even harm the plant. Of course, we do not forget to look after the plant, understanding that something unforeseen may happen to it. But if nothing like that happens, then non-action is exactly what is needed in such a situation. Wu Wei teaches us not to rush events, but instead to let them unfold in their own time. When you live in accordance with the principles of Wu Wei, you put the square peg into the square hole and the round one into the round hole. No stress, no unnecessary effort. Our ego, our desires, and our inner sense of conflict try to push us to force a square peg into the round hole, just to prove that we can. Cunning suggests what to grease the peg with and how to whittle it so that it will fit where it doesn't belong. In search of knowledge, we try to understand why round pegs go into round holes but not square ones, and whether something can be done about it. Wu Wei doesn't try. It doesn't think. It just does. From the outside, it may seem that almost nothing is being done. There are times when doing nothing is the best thing you can do. The search for your own Wu Wei. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. Only if you are at peace are you truly living in the present. Lao Tzu. When we look at the world around us as it is now, it may seem that we have a pile of tasks, worries, and work. And when we strive for progress, personal achievements, and in some cases even simple survival, the idea of non-action may seem unattainable. Fortunately, the essence of Wu Wei is very simple, and there are many simple things we can do and not do every day that help us tune in to the natural order of things. Here are just a few of them that you can easily try yourself. You can start to spend more time in nature. If our fundamental goal is to tune in to the natural order of things, we need to be in nature as often as possible. We won't find a better teacher or a better place to get closer to this aspect of ourselves. When we take our first step into the world of nature, ideally barefoot, not in rubber-soled sneakers, we connect to the world of Wu Wei, where on all levels, natural, productive, flow-based systems abound. And when we establish a connection between ourselves and all of this, we help ourselves connect with what is inside us, in the very depths of our soul, with that which helps us live according to Wu Wei. Share what you have with no conditions and no expectation of gratitude. As we grew closer to the world of nature, it reminds us of the generosity that abounds when living systems are in harmony with themselves. From a single seed can grow a fruit tree that can feed many and produce thousands upon thousands of new seeds. The sun gives us light and warmth, and does not become any smaller or dimmer because of it. A river is full of life and clothes its banks in bright greenery wherever it flows, from the mountains to the sea. One of the most natural manifestations of flow that we can observe in life is the generosity of nature, which each of us would do well to learn from. When we allow ourselves to follow our deep urge to share and give, even in small ways, we begin to harmonize with the original generous and benevolent essence of life itself. And without any extra effort, we open ourselves to the possibility not only of giving, but also of receiving, often much more than we give. When we grow closer to nature, we connect to the world of Wu Wei, and it teaches us true generosity. Let go of fixed ideas about how things should be. This does not mean that you should rush into the future thoughtlessly and rely only on luck. No, there will always be things and circumstances in your life that require careful planning. But at every step and at every stage of the journey, you will encounter opportunities and shortcuts that you could not even imagine at the planning stage. Sometimes our efforts to follow the plan at any cost and achieve the set goal simply do not allow us to see what other opportunities may open up before us, if only we are willing to notice them. If you understand how this world is really arranged and tune yourself to it in a genuine way, then almost only the right things will start to happen to you, leading you in the right direction, even if it seems to you that this is not so. When you reach the goal, you will be able to look back and say to yourself, "Oh, now I understand. This had to happen so that that could happen, and that had to happen so that in the end, this would turn out." And then you realize that even if you had tried to do everything perfectly, you still could not have done it better. And if you had tried to force your way, you would only have ruined everything. Sometimes our efforts to carry out the plan at all costs and achieve the set goal simply do not allow us to see what other opportunities may open up before us, if only we are willing to notice them. Always stay open to something new and unexpected. One of the most fundamental principles of Wu Wei is that the essence of the flow is not predetermined, but can manifest spontaneously. We can play our part in creating ideal conditions. We can bring ourselves to the ocean, but we cannot create waves in it no matter how hard we try. Only the ocean itself can do that. My family has a wonderful, well-planned vegetable garden, but this year the harvest of our carefully planted and fertilized rows of lettuce and cabbage paled in comparison with the pumpkins we never planted at all. They grew by themselves on the compost heap. So when we begin to move toward our goals in any area of life, we would do well to follow one of the cornerstone symbols of Wu Wei, the ability to always stay open to the new, both inside and out. We never know which quiet whisper or fresh impulse might give us the opportunity at this very moment to receive what we desire. Be still like a mountain and flow like a great river.